Baltimore is more than crabs in the wire, and I'm here to share the real stories of the real, true talented people in the city who don't get the recognition that they deserve. Please sit back, relax, subscribe, and watch how we make the whole world want to be more like us. What up, Baltimore? It's your boy CEO Be Easy back here again. Last week was crazy, man. Did you see Focus Curve's video? Anyway, you can look through our videology, check that out. Definitely gotta check that out. Black-owned moving company. Today we're at a new location. You know, we try to switch it up sometimes. We're at 4810 Bel Air Road here in Baltimore, Maryland at the world's largest rim store, Rim Source Motorsports, straight out of Baltimore. But you can find more information below in the description. Now today, I'm blessed to have on this set a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, and an educator. One and only Matt Prestbury, owner, founder of the Black Fathers Foundation. How you feeling, man?
I'm well, man. Blessed, happy to be here this fine Sunday morning. I appreciate you.
I just want to know one thing before we get started. How in the doggone world did you get a blue check on Facebook?
Oh man, I know a guy. That's what that's what I tell everybody. I know a guy. So the truth is, for those of us who were in the Facebook Community Leadership Program, a lot of people were pushing and saying that they wanted it because we're in this program and we're kind of like really more visible because of being in the program. Plus, we all have these groups with tons and tons of people in the groups. So what people didn't want was they wanted to protect against copycats coming along because now we on, we're in this area, people seeing us and all of that. They like people gonna come along and try to duplicate what we doing. So by having the blue check, then it's that authentication, yeah. So it ain't nothing more than that. I mean, yeah, I met Zuckerberg, but it's
just a slight flex.
Yeah,
I met Zuckerberg. So, Mr. Prestbury, for the world, can you just tell us a little bit more about you, just as an individual, not your businesses? Who are you and where you from?
Certainly. So who I am is I'm the son of Ben and Clarissa, and I'm the sum of my ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears. My name is Matt Prestbury, but that is who I am. I also am a father, husband, educator, as you mentioned. So what motivates me in this world and makes me much of who I am is knowing my ancestry and the history and knowing how much we've had to overcome and knowing how much still needs to be overcome. So that propels me every day to do the work I do in the fatherhood field, in the education field, as a father, bringing up my own children, being a husband to my wife, and all of those sorts of things. So that pretty much sums up who I am. I'm born and raised in Baltimore County for the first 12 years of my life, moved into Baltimore City, age 13, going to 7th grade, Hamilton Middle School, then on to Baltimore City College, But yeah, that pretty much sums up, And after that, I got into the field of education, early childhood education, and just been an educator since then.
So more often than not, people think that success comes with no trial or no errors, right? So just enlighten me to something that was pivotal in your life that happened that made you change and develop into the man that you now are today.
So if I had to pick one thing, I would say dealing with depression, which I still deal with now. And I talk about that very openly because I understand the impact that it has on other people's lives and how much we hide from it. But what I've come to understand is that so many of us are hiding out stuff. I don't know about the language, but hiding out stuff from one another. So I'm scared to talk to you about what I'm going through. Meanwhile, I might not know you're going through the same thing. So that dealing with depression and actually attempted suicide twice. That really, when I hit bottom, I was in Shepherd Pratt for 3 days right before Thanksgiving one year. I'll never forget. And all I could think about was, did the staff think I was crazy? So going through that, you got that much of a mental breakdown that you actually try to take your own life, and then you turn around and you're not even worried about, are you okay? You're worried about what people's perception of you. Do they think I'm crazy? I still got to get out of here. I still got to run my business. I still got to go through all of that. I don't want people to think I'm crazy. So going through that was one of the definitely, I would say, had to be the hardest thing other than my first divorce. But as far as the depression piece, my wife like literally saved my life. That's really how I overcame it. I did talk to some brothers that I knew. Shout out to David Miller, who I talked to at one time, who got me with a therapist. But in
Family's
addition
important.
to him, very important. It's a good that I remember that, and I want to shout him out just because of him being a brother and being there for me as a brother. You know what I'm saying? So that's important. But my wife definitely, talking to her, talking through it with her, going through that, and her actually getting me with a psychiatrist, getting on medication, which I fought against. She basically had to drag me in there, but it was like it was the last straw. But
strong black women.
yeah,
man.
definitely, she wasn't taking no for an answer, and I love her and appreciate her for that, because as much as I did not want to get on meds, and I don't push that on anybody else, but for me, it made a difference. So getting on the meds and then really learning to embrace life and to feel good about life. I still got the same problems, the same issues. They didn't go away. I just had to change my attitude about them and how I handled them. And that's really how I worked to overcome it. I still deal with it. I have my ups and downs. I go into my valleys. I stay there for a minute, but I don't let myself live there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can lay there, but I don't live there. I get up and I push through for another day.
Well, definitely, man. I definitely appreciate you sharing that. That's deep, man. It just seems like every week is a different subject. And like you said, the more vocal we are about our issues, the more we can feel comfortable that you're not by yourself. Because I actually suffered from that at one point too, at the breakup of my first child's mother. And I remember drinking one night. I had an old school Chevy. I had a bunch of old school Chevys, but I was just driving one night on 70 towards Columbia, and I just closed my eye. But I woke up in Columbia Mall parking lot. It was closed. I don't know how I got there. True story. Like, I don't know what. I don't remember no navigation. I mean, on the old school, my phone navigation wasn't on. God, I felt like angels just guided me. I was drinking. I ended up on Columbia parking lot, bro. It's a real story. So trust me, I understand these struggles that we have, facing the police, facing, being men in our households, being fathers. We go through a lot there, and we're always told to be strong or get over it or push through it. But it's tough being a black man in America, and a man, period, no matter who you are, but definitely being a black man coming from here, it's tough. So I definitely salute whatever you did to get you to, to where you are now.
Definitely. Appreciate it. No doubt about it. And the thing about it is the more open we are, that's how we get rid of the stigmas, right? Like I said, I'm in there and I'm thinking about what do they think of me. But when we get rid of those stigmas, then we don't have to worry about what people think of us. But we don't do that by hiding from it. We do that by being open and telling each other what we're going through. That's the only way to get over it.
That was pretty deep. I appreciate that, brother. But now let's switch it up a little bit. Let's switch it up. We talked about who you are. Definitely much respect to where you came from. But how did we get here? How did we get to, how many members in your Facebook group?
79,000.
Yeah, how did we get to 0 to 79,000 people in your, in your business? So explain your business history. That's what I'm saying.
So the business itself right now is the Black Fathers Foundation, and that came about from the Black Fathers group on Facebook. So it's really, I like to call it an extension of that group, and then it's going to branch off into even more things. But so Black Fathers started back in 2008, and that was, I really just looked around and knew that there were hardly any platforms that really were giving us our just due as men and fathers, and as fathers in general, white fathers, Asian, you look at a lot of different places, and we're just not seen. Even in stuff called Parents Magazine, all moms, right? So I was like, I had to do something to change that. And then on top of that, you think about how we're generally represented in mainstream media as, if we're talking specifically fathers, then deadbeats and this and that. But even just black men in general, it's always negative. So I jumped on the opportunity with the platform being the Facebook groups to create something where the world could really see a different side of us. And that was coming from us, not from what ABC said we were, not from what CBS said we were or anybody else. It's what from each of us said that we were. So pictures of ourselves, videos, and all of that. So we got up to the 79,000 just by continuously grinding. You start a group, you add maybe 6 people, your closest friends or whatever, you throw them in a group, and you hope it amounts to something. It's like almost like baking, you know what I mean? You throw some ingredients together, you hope a nice cake come out. So we just kept grinding with it and pushing every chance I get, telling every black man I could. And then fast forward about 5 years in, we had maybe 5,000 members. We averaged like maybe 1,000 members a year at that time. Facebook comes along and said they wanted to do an interview that they would write up and put on one of their sites or something, and it ended up going into the Huffington Post. So it came out as I had written the article myself. So that was really the start that got us like on the map in terms of media coverage and widespread media coverage, not even just local or anything like that, but really around the world. And that's where it started. And every year it was just bubbling really at that point. And then the more media coverage we got, it took off. Got on Steve Harvey, got invited out to California, and all of that type of stuff. So it's been steadily growing, and a lot of it. Yeah, I was on. You see that episode?
I was asking for the people, man. I never met Steve Harvey. So
Google it. Yeah, it's funny. If we had time, I could really get into the story. I'll make it short.
Right.
He taped 2 episodes a day. And so we had to get there we got there 1 o'clock, sitting in the green room. Actually, my wife went out to the audience for the show that I was going to be on. And still, we sitting there. And finally, it's I think it was 5 minutes to 6 or something. And they bring me out. So I was on there. I ain't complaining or nothing, but it was a long. I had to wait all day just sitting in the green room. Finally come out, and it's blink of an eye. And everybody asked how was Steve Harvey? And I'm like, I really don't know. I sat with him. I sat with him for 2 minutes for real. Shoot. But as far as I can tell, he's a cool guy. We ended up taking pictures, and all that. They sent me the pictures and all that good stuff. So yeah, that was that experience. It was fun. And then I was right out. They literally took us from the studio, took us to the airport, flew back to Baltimore. That was it. It was just like that.
Business.
Yeah. But it was still a great experience. I'll never forget. So all of those types of things. And the beautiful thing about that is that the producers actually came to me. So at this point, it's not Facebook saying, oh, we got this or we got that, or Facebook reaching out. It's people who had seen stuff in the media already, and they were coming straight to me we want to get you on the show. So that's when I knew that we've really had something. And since then, over the years, there's been a lot of other media outlets that have come directly to me and we want to talk about this. We want to talk about when the joint came out, the cartoon with the black man doing his daughter's hair. It was one news organization that wanted to do something about that. So they come to us now looking for positive. They know we got positive black men who are doing what they need to do. So when they want to put them in commercials or they want to put them in a spot or whatever, a news story or whatever, they come to us for that. So I think that's outstanding. So with that, we ended up in 2018. I had applied for the Facebook Community Leadership Program. I got into that, and I also got into the Practitioners Leadership Institute here in Baltimore, run by Center for Urban Families. Shout out to Joe Jones, all my brothers and sisters over at Center for Urban Families. So get into that, and with that becomes the idea, really the formation for the foundation. So to getting a nonprofit going off the ground, to extend all of the work that we were doing within the group, bringing brothers together, sharing their stories and all that. Just, same thing we're doing here. That's what we wanted to do, was create that content. But we also wanted to be a funding organization, because we know how many nonprofits are out here. Even, if we just look at Baltimore alone, how many nonprofits, black-led, and we all out here fighting for crumbs. And most of them crumbs is coming from a pie that a white man baked, right? Mm-hmm. So we wanted to be an organization that could really, we could bake the pie ourselves. We could split it up and help our brothers and sisters that's out here running organizations. So that's really where the foundation came from. So it's those 3 aspects. The content piece, so we can allow brothers to continue to tell their stories in their own words. So we have something we call Foundation Conversations every month. We have a panel. This one, April, I don't want to miss April's Foundation Conversation. I'm about to really get started, but it's on cannabis, the cannabis industry, cannabis usage, because of course April 420. So what else was we gonna do, right? So we have my man Tucky Blunt, who runs Blunts and More out in Oakland, California. Nice. Social Equity Dispensary in Oakland, California. We have a researcher coming on, and we have a hip hop artist who is a cannabis user. I'm trying to get a parent on. I watched this movie, and they had different parents who actually treated their children. They had cancer. They treated them with cannabis. And this was the first black parents that I saw. So I reached out to him, trying to get him on the show. It's going to drop
before 420. So, hey, you out there.
Yeah.
You hear it. It's like an all cry. He just basically told you what he needed, and the network. I ain't going to say too much. Don't miss your opportunities. The information is in the description below.
Check it out. But we always do, with our foundation conversation, we always have, it's always fathers, always black fathers, right? So we're doing that. We just have different topics. talked about all kinds of stuff from dads who do digital work and have followers online to frontline dads who are police and firefighters out here fighting COVID and all that kind of stuff. So every month we just get a different theme and have a panel of black men who can share their own stories in their own words because that's what it's all about. So we just keep creating those opportunities, being a funding source, and then also being a networking organization where we bring organizations together so we can work together, we can partner and have these sorts of collaborations to make everybody stronger. So
everybody's favorite part. Are you so Baltimore? Yeah. All right. I'm gonna give you a question. I'm gonna give you two options, no variants. You gotta pick one, then you can explain afterward. You ready?
Ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
In Baltimore, what do you define as a half and half? Is it lemonade iced tea or fruit punch and iced tea?
Lemonade and iced tea.
I'll say that's a good answer. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Okay. Then most people know what a half and half is. I've been out of the States. They're like, can I get a half and half? They go to New York. They're like, what? What is a half and half? But why? Why not the other one? Because some people mix the joint with the fruit punch.
Some people do, but from what I was told when I went in the store and I said, give me a half and half with the fruit, they said that is not a half and half. That is a fruit punch and a lemonade. So half and half is officially iced tea and lemonade.
A half and half is defined as anything that's half cut. So if it's orange and lime, all right, no.
Sir,
the camera crew telling me
lemonade.
I'm just making sure because sometimes people can be like, well, you know what, that is right. No, that ain't right. You did the right answer.
I tried it one time. I tried to slide it in, and it's like, no, that is not called a half and half. That's just called a fruit punch and a lemonade.
Well, brother, just like you're an educator. I'm not an educator, but I easily love the kids. That's where we have a mutual ground. But being around kids so much, what do you tell them on the regular to keep them inspired in a city that's not known for inspiration per se? Or what would you tell them right now? If you could tell them in short words, what would you tell any children listening right now?
For me, it always goes back to our history and our culture. And I tell kids, and I loved my favorite time teaching was when I was at a school that I will not name, but I really had the freedom to introduce the kids to the kingdoms of West Africa, Ghana, Mali, all of that, and to give them an understanding of where they come from, right? And I know, people get into it now. Well, we weren't all kings, we weren't all queens. I understand, but it's not about the actuality all the time. Sometimes it's about the mentality. So when you understand from whence you came and you understand that greatness that existed, it may not exist in every single individual, but it existed and it was abound everywhere. You have a duty, you really have an obligation as a young person to really carry that on. Even from our times back in Africa to our times coming up to 50s, 60s, civil rights movements, and all of the things our ancestors have fought and died for, that's really, it's not a burden, it's really an honor to really carry that and understand that we're standing on their shoulders and the things that we are able to do is because of them. So that's one thing that I really talk about, always understanding the history and culture. When you know where you came from, it helps you understand where you're going. When you don't, it's like Marcus Garvey said, people without a knowledge of their past is like a tree without roots. You're going to fall. You're never going to be able to stand strong. So that's the biggest thing. The other thing that I really instill in kids is that, especially black kids, is that this world is really designed for them to fail, right? And I'm just blunt, and I tell them that. The world is designed for you to fail. But the way you got to look at it is the same way as a boxer stepping in the boxing ring. You know that his plan is for you to fail. But you don't just get up there and just stand with your hands down and let him beat the crap out of you, right? You had to find the tools, you had to train, you had to get the right strength, stamina, and all of that stuff to be able to go in there, game plan, and all of that to be able to take him down and not let him take you down or her, because we got women boxers too, right? So either way, that's the idea. This world is not for you. You got to understand that, and you got to work to do everything you can to overcome that, not be a victim of it. So that's really what I work to do, and to really just be a living example of what is possible. I think by me being a black man, being in the school with these kids every day, and just the way that I speak to them, interact with them, and all of that, I think even in and of itself sends a positive message and gives them its representation, right? Because so many of our kids, they look around in schools and they mostly see white teachers, white females, and all of that. So just walking, living, breathing, I stand as an example to them. And then I take other kids under my wings and I mentor them and all of those sorts of things. So those are all the ways that I work to inspire our youth. It's a cold world out there, but we are the world. We got to change that world. We can't just sit there and talk like it's everybody else. It's us. So we got to, understand that the only way this world changes is by us changing and doing better.
Man, oh man, I hate this part of the interview. That's the part where it almost coming to an end. It's my saddest part, yo. No, but seriously, man, people say so much about our city, right? I love our city. I love the people in it. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? Yeah, been a couple of weeks now, been doing this. And with all that being said, I just always ask this at the end because I just want to get a feel for who I'm interviewing and how they feel, and I'm always open to your opinions and stuff like that. And I'm just curious, what with all the recent changes, right, that just happened, changes in office and all that stuff. Where do you see Baltimore in the next 5 years to you? And will you be a part of Baltimore, or whether you're here or you still have business coming through here in the next 5 years? What do you? Two-part question.
Gotcha. Well, I'm working to be as optimistic as I possibly can. I know that I've just witnessed, mostly on the surface or whatever, like some stuff that Brandon Scott is already installing, or whatever you want to say. So I'm working to be optimistic about that, but it's tough because honestly, in 5 years, like I know that the gentrification is just going to continue and all of those sorts of things, and just more and more people push out of DC and all of that. You know what I mean? And I just that's my fear, that Baltimore is not going to look like what we, just see now in terms of black folks standing up and doing all of that. I'm working to be hopeful, like I said, because I see reasons to hope. But like I said, with Brandon Scott, the things he's doing, and the people that I know, like you said, so many people here to love that are doing great things. People are going to keep fighting, but I'm just pretty scared that the powers that be are going to fight even harder and just really change the city, and it's not going to be the way that the common black man, black woman in the city want it to be. So it's a little scary, but I trying to be hopeful, trying to be optimistic. So I don't want to bring people down at the end of the interview and make everybody sad, but a lot of times you can see the right of the world.
I told you speak.
So,
you're true.
Yeah.
This isn't about this. No sugarcoating or Bmore
Exactly.
410. So those are valid things. Those things typically only get talked about in the dark, though.
Yeah.
Gentrification is real, and the only thing I'll say about that, because like I said, I don't want the interview to go too long. Is let's get our credit and finances in order. I'm a big credit advocate. Probably haven't promoted the whole entire series, but if anybody needs help with their credit, please talk to me. Let's work something out, because the only way you're going to stop gentrification or change it is to own something.
Yes.
So you can't own nothing if you ain't got no money funneling down from some type of insurance policy or some type of inheritance or some type of business stuff. A lot of us don't have that, especially African Americans. As it sets, we're changing that for future generations, but we're still dealing with stuff from prior generations. But you gotta own something, man. It's all about paperwork. It's all about what your name is on. Not what designer name is on you. That's what I tell people. So definitely, man. That's the only way we're gonna change that is to own something and gotta get that credit right. Because like I said, I don't think we got too much of the other stuff going for us. No money funneling out the sky.
Right.
Bring me the money funneling out the sky. I'm a money machine. I want all the money, right? But right now, I ain't like
they could just write you a check for $20,000.
Yeah, I will though. We're gonna speak that into existence very soon. We will be able to cut $50,000-$60,000 checks. It won't even break a sweat. But do you see yourself paying in the next 5 years?
I honestly do not. I feel like a fresh change of scenery is overdue. I've been here a long time, and as much
it's the first time here. Somebody said no. Okay, let me ask you this then.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see yourself still working with the city?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
All right. Because you breaking my heart.
Yeah, no. Because it's so many things. The foundation is going to be nationwide, so we'll be doing work all over. And of course, I got family still here. I got folks still here. I'm never not going to love and be a Baltimorean. I'm a Baltimorean.
There you go.
To the core. So wherever I go in my travels, Baltimore will always be in my heart, and I will always come back. Plus, I went to city, so I gotta come back for the.
The kids.
Yeah, every year. I gotta come back every year.
I got y'all. They will not come on here and run us off the camera. Poly engineers. All right.
Gotta come back for the game and the homecoming every year, so you can count on that. I'm right there on my calendar whenever I do roll out of here.
Well, Matt, I'm honored, man. I'm honored to be in your presence. I'm honored that
likewise, bro.
you're making your mark in history. You're creating a legacy, for your kids. You're breaking generational curses, man. And that's to be celebrated on a high level over just birthdays and bottles and all that crazy stuff. I didn't even do any birthdays and bottles this year. It's just I'd much rather be doing this, brother. And an interview like this just solidifies that this is definitely my purpose. It's because I want to hear all the dopeness. And this is definitely something to be celebrated. And right then and there, that means that y'all need to be going down to the information below. All his information below is his social media. I'm gonna let him shout it out. It's like his social media, all that social media. I'm about to run through all the social media. It's the same thing. Social media. And man, I want y'all to please follow, especially if you're a black father. He does a lot for black fathers, man. As far as a platform, not like giving anything, but just if you've never been in this group, just find this group on Facebook that he gonna shout out. Trust me, you won't regret it. So. Plenty of brothers that look like you on there from all different parts of the world at this point. Man, it's nothing but positivity, man. If a kid passes, they're there to support. If a kid is born, I see 3, 4, 6,000 likes, they're celebrating life. It's just a positive atmosphere that you don't want to be a part of. But I say, Ethan pretty much told you everything. So who am I? I'm just here to facilitate it to you because you guys going to follow him, right? So, Matt, tell them how can they follow you?
Certainly. So the first thing, first and foremost, if you are a black man, even if you have not become a father yet, join Black Fathers on Facebook.
I'm on it.
My mind, yes. It's everything that you say, and people say all the time, this is the only reason I'm on Facebook, or this is the best group on Facebook. It truly is exactly what you said, and I love it. Celebrating all kinds of stuff. So if you are not a black man, or even if you are, you can still join Black Fathers in Company. That's an open group where we wanted people to get a glimpse of, what we're doing in the group, even for those who can't be in the group. So it's men, it's women, it's white folks, whatever. So everybody can be in that group and still celebrate, and honor Black fatherhood. And then as far as the foundation goes, we have the Black Fathers Foundation page on Facebook. So go like that. We have our Instagram, the Black Fathers Foundation. Follow us there. Our Twitter, Black Fathers FDN. And please follow us on Twitter. We need to get out. Twitter followers. Yeah, and I even started a TikTok. I ain't done a whole lot with it, but
I got one too. I didn't drop one video. I'm gonna change that.
I might have two, maybe.
So
but I think that's pretty much it. Oh, our website is blackfathersfoundation.org. We need to update it, but it's there. You can get more information there. So,
anybody want to shout before we go?
My wife and my kids, love them to life, man. Shout
Look at it right there in the camera, tell them.
Baby, I'm coming home to you right now. No, but yeah, my wife and my kids make all of this possible. And shout out to you all for having me here. I really appreciate it. Be easy, my man. Love you, brother.
Hey, man, just like that, we want the whole world to be more like us in the 410.